We're back.
Woo. With
And
notes.
we're still growing, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, the note.
1. For the sake of university policy and the health of any future career you hope to have, you will abide by the non-disclosure contract that you have signed. 2. Do not break the anthropoidic vacuum without my prior consultation and approval. 3. Any anthropoidic forms brought into the enclosure area must not be left unattended. When not in dormancy, the sample will attempt to take anthropoid shells. Please see shell notes for more on that. I'm sure it's fine, whatever the hell we're doing here.
It'll be fine.
Read more. 4. The sample's exposure to some of our neuronal activity is unavoidable. However, the speed at which its desirous yield is produced can be dampened by several precautions regarding libidinal and emotional urges. Keep conversation not related to lab work to a minimum. They're using big words. If
Yes.
you begin to suspect you are developing attachments to your colleagues, contact me as soon as possible. No friendship allowed. Note 3.
Friendship is forbidden.
Yeah. Ritual behavior with the sample, trading, bargaining, will result in dismissal from the project. The precise mechanism of the exchange of symbols and gifts required for a requested desirous yield is not known, and even then, anecdotal accounts of success are illegible. End in violent death. And the last one. Boop. Regarding growth cycles, every time Whiskers regenerates and leaves dormancy, it is to be logged as a new propagation. The sample's bodily existence cannot be illegible, i.e. a part cannot be cut from the whole, so there can only be one living propagation. Propagations are to be terminated after 5 weeks. Any further development puts us at risk. Termination procedures will be posted and followed with extreme care. With all of that out of the way, I want to welcome you to the project. I look forward to working with you. Dr. Hart. Our grandpa.
Sounds like a very nice man.
Yeah. Okay, so let's examine educational posters. Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here, Alphabet. Ooh.
A set of procedures regarding disposal and internment. Okay, read now. 1. The researcher will seal off the enclosure bars, ensuring minimal gas leakage during the later fumigation process, and then retrieve the burn barrel and place it near the enclosure. 2. Allow at least 48 hours of time where the current growth cycle experiences no human-related stimuli. Do not enter the enclosure area, nor any part of the basement. Ideally, you will not be on the grounds at all. 3. After 48 hours, 2 researchers will enter the basement wearing their assigned mirror mask, mirror apron, and powered air purifying respirator. The researcher will use the vent system to fumigate the enclosure area. Wait 30 minutes and then use the fan system to ventilate the enclosure. Keep the fans running during steps 3 through 4. Bleh. 4. Re-enter the enclosure area wearing your assigned mirror masks and aprons. The organism may or may not be in complete dormancy. If it is in full dormancy, be assured that its capacity to act... If it's not in full dormancy, be assured that its capacity to act against you will be greatly diminished. With your assigned powered drills, quickly remove the enclosure bars needed to access the organism. Then put them aside for later reinstallation. 5. Put the organism into the burn barrel. Incinerate the organism thoroughly. Wait for any smoke to be properly cleared by the fan system. 6. Turn off the fans. One researcher will retrieve the nucleus from the ash and place it in the mirror box. The other researcher will sift through the ash and place any other substantial remains in the biohazard bin in the room outside of the enclosure area. The bin is locked for safety purposes. The code is 323245. The researchers will fill out a termination form and leave it for Dr. Hart. And I'm going to take a picture of that so I don't have to remember this stupid number.
I was about to say, hold on, let me open up a document.
Oh yeah, you could do that too. That works. Oh, we've got 2 of these.
If you want to take a,
Yeah, I already took a picture.
if you want to take a screenshot.
I used my phone, but I got a picture now, so we're
All right.
good. And you've gained conversation topic. Biohazard bin. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Let's search the filing cabinet since we're here.
Get rid of all this crap. Whatever it is.
Ooh, cashews.
Peanuts?
Cashews. Delicious.
Looks edible. Grandpa might like it.
Yeah. Get in the goddamn trash can. An account of an acquisition. Read now. It was said to pass from one family of steppe people to another, but pressed on its ultimate origin, illegible, somewhere to the south, coiled in a bowl covered in incantations, buried upside down by a graveyard, a common late antiquity demon trap. The keeper, an elderly man in failing health, was ready to expound on and on about the dangers of the organism, but when I asked more pointed questions about the history of its acquisition, I was given curt responses that had a way of circling back to vague warnings. Oh, we're all clean. Boop. Cabinet 2.
More garbage. Who could have guessed?
This whole basement is nothing but garbage. And we have to clean it up
Well, you
every
gotta dump it somewhere.
fucking week. Yeah. I come down here with trash bags, I guess. All cleaned. Is that the only thing we can click on? Yep. Vocabulary card. Vocabulary card. Grandpa. I can teach him to say his name now. 2. Boop. Boop.
Anything? Be anything in here? Should be.
There's always something, except for when there's not. Eh. False bottom. You remove the taped down fabric to reveal the cabinet's wooden bottom.
Ooh.
Notation regarding sample exoskeletons. Research participants, please take note. Each growth from a cycle does not require a shell, but you may find the sample will often try and seize on something somewhat flexible it can grow into, along with any desirous yield it may generate, or else it will move from one shell to the next as it outgrows them. In the small amount of time I have spent with it in preparation, I have noticed it tends towards human forms. However, we should keep a tight lid on the anthropoidic seal in order to be cautious before we begin to experiment with exposing it long-term to anthropoid stimuli. Dr. Hart. A bunch of gobbledygook. A note regarding
I
cleanup
was gonna say, what the hell does any of that mean?
It means it
You're
likes
just
human
saying
shapes.
words.
Goddamn words. To my colleagues, I don't mean to be overly severe in tone, but Dr. Hart's work is very important, and the material we are working with, is potentially very dangerous. I will be handing out a copy of this note as a reminder to everyone. I'm not trying to single any particular person out. We all have misconceptions about the nature of this project from time to time. With that out of the way, here are some things to keep in mind. 1. The active growth must be thoroughly terminated via the correct procedures at the very least 4 weeks after dormancy is interrupted. It doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done regarding tests or procedures or how much the anthropoidic vacuum has been disrupted. We are not ready to go beyond 4 weeks at this point. A step-by-step guide to termination has been posted by the enclosure wall. Please, please, please do not place the educational posters over this posting. We've already pulled those off, so we found that. Do not disrupt the anthropoidic vacuum without Dr. Hart's prior consultation and approval. In case of any emergency where the vacuum is disrupted, put on your equipment and begin the lockdown procedure. Make an extensive note of when and how the breach occurred. 3. If you find the habitat empty, page Dr. Hart immediately, but do not attempt to speak with anyone else. This thing can get very smart. I'm sure you're all well aware from the stories we heard on our acquisition trip. The greatest caution should be used when dealing with a potential aggressive mimicry scenario. Please seek me out if you have any more questions. William. Okay. We already did 3, right? Yeah. Medical
Maybe.
device.
I don't know.
Can't change my
Doo-doo?
hand here. We don't got nothing yet. Okay, yeah, we already did that one. So we can back out of here. Go to the kitchen. Search the upper fridge. What's this? Lettuce. It looks edible.
Lettuce. Lower fridge. A banana.
Brown banana.
Brown.
Yep. Okay, well, we don't have anything to prepare yet. Okay, we're gonna back out of there because we've got stuff to explore. Everything's gone. Trash.
Yes, more trash.
Our favorite part of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cleaning up. It's the best.
Hello. Vocabulary card. And a corroded battery. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. We're gonna make Grandpa eat that battery. Oop.
Everything's clean.
Yeah, except for this bulbous growth. Something appears to be growing from the wall. You take a closer look. A pulsating sac. The slimy membrane that is its skin seems to contain something. It might be able to be opened with a blade, but we don't have a blade. And that's still too
We
dark.
got a battery.
We could cut it with a battery. Cabinet. Slouching under the weight of rotten refuse. Going
Oh boy,
to the
more garbage.
cabinet. Yeah. Look, blueberries. It looks edible. So much trash.
Why is there so much trash?
And why does it keep regenerating every week? Like maybe our
And
parents...
what is it? It's just
Yeah, I don't even know what it's supposed to be. Paper?
possibly.
Boop. An account of an acquisition. Before we began, he had us all cover our faces completely. An earthenware pot was illegible, and on the inside, as we stole brief glances at it, we could see the interior was inlaid with mirrors. The illegible gave it small pieces of dough, spoiled food, chicken feed, illegible, keeping it content. The keeper gestured towards the small bag where the food composted and told us to be careful not to feed it any meat. I asked if the rotting food was enough to sustain it, how it might get nutrients from any of this. The keeper regarded me seriously and said it did not matter what it was fed. The act of feeding itself was what mattered. The act of feeding flesh is another act, however. He then gave me another series of grave warnings regarding not keeping any animal-derived foods near where I might be keeping it.
So no meat.
Yep.
Why is it full of baby heads?
Damn good question. I don't know. Why can't I throw those away?
Good question.
Okay, well, we don't have a key yet, so we can't get in there. Safety. Uh-huh. Oop.
Neat.
Examine. Something about that painting looks strange. Oop.
Hidden note.
Ooh, a folder full of radiographic images. You can examine this in detail
Oh, good,
later
we
at
can
the
go to
study
the-
corner. Yeah. Trash.
What goodies will be here? Whatever that is, some sort of slop.
Fiberglass insulation. We can feed it to Grandpa. Oop. Where am I missing one? There it is. Oop. Okay, well
It
that
was
cord is
hidden.
clean. It was. More trash. The waste here smells particularly strong. Simple paper doll.
Paper doll.
This might be useful in the construction of magic symbols. We can make a grandma too.
Nobody cares about grandma.
Yeah, we're growing Grandpa right now. We can't get back into the mannequin closet, so we've got cashews, lettuce, banana, battery, blueberries, and fiberglass insulation. Okay, so let's go to the study corner. I'm ignoring Grandpa, if you can't tell.
For the moment.
Mm-hmm. You slip the radiographic images you found onto the machine's display. Oop. Propagation 20... Well, let's start off on the first one. 5, 14, 2... Okay, let's start here. Propagation number 2. Day 0 after dormancy. The anthropoidic vacuum broken? Yes. Terminated at 6 days. We've taken to calling it Whiskers, though of course some have interpreted it as hair or needles or quills, but Whiskers is more accurate, as the needles are really more like suprasensory follicles or spines. Suprasensory, God. The nerve nets distributed throughout the morphology of these spines resemble those of genus Hydra, but have myelin sheaths that are functionally the same as vertebrae. As we can see in the X-ray, each spine is laden with dense optical arrangements similar to compound eyes. The Hydra connection is assuredly worth investigating with regard to the organism's capacity for regeneration and anecdotal deathlessness. In certain, it is a robust enough creature to inspire marvel that is not untinged with fear. That's 2. Let's go to 5. The propagation number 5, 10 days after dormancy. It broke the vacuum. No. And it was terminated at 12 days. This radiograph was taken at or around growth cycle number 4. The strange thing about it was that the subject of the image was found nowhere near the enclosure. It's almost like a piece of Whiskers fell off and scurried into the corner. I feel like we've learned a lot since then, but at the time I remember speaking about the morphology being weird, not really even resembling any extant zoomorphic structure, besides maybe a cuttlefish. Then I happened to open the thing up. Inside were all these little dead amoeba-like things, but they all sort of looked like they had faces that were just barely there. After I took the radiograph, I gathered up and went to go throw, I think is what they meant. Went to go throw it in the biohazard bin. Yeah, they just typoed. As I walked by the bars of the enclosure, I could hear Whiskers suddenly going wild, flopping around and grunting excitedly. Could it have smelled the cuttlefish thing? Would it eat its own production? I guess it's technically flesh. This is beyond the scope of the project, but it could be that without the stimulus of an active brain, or more specifically, a healthy and active brain capable of face recognition and theory of mind, Whiskers begins to pull whatever it can from the limited data available to it. Again, this is not our focus at this time, but I left a note for Dr. Hart just in case he wanted to look at it. Okay, so 14. Where is it? There it is. So, propagation 14, 14 days after dormancy. It didn't break the vacuum and it was terminated at 16 days. Beep. Exposure to mammalian forms, part of a series of zoomorphic influences, led to further understanding of the propagation's ability to simulate the somatic stem cells that constitute fully developed animals. I write simulate in the previous statement because examining the tissue of each propagation leads me to believe its amazing capacity for accelerated growth of vastly different forms comes from its cell-level mutability. And yet at no time does it function as the thing it becomes except in the sense that it mimics it. That is to say, when Whiskers is removed from dormancy and replicates a rabbit's morphology, it is not seen from the rabbit's eyes nor smelling from the rabbit's nose, but pretending that it does and doing a very good job at it. Where's the brain?
So it's not really alive, or the thing that it pretends to be.
Yeah, because remember it was talking about like its hairs or whatever were actually its eyeballs, like compound eyes. So it's actually just seeing through its body.
Its hair.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the timer's about to go off, so we can read this later.
Yep, okay. More reading.
Yeah, who would have guessed? The game's full reading.
Well, once we get to the growing the grandpa part, we'll have less reading. But right now we're in note hell.
Yeah, it's the lore dump.
Yep. Okay, when we come back, more lore. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.